Oh, now I'm making a video. Tell everybody the bad news.
I'm sick.
No, I meant about the weeds everywhere. You found the bindweed. You don't care if you're sick.
Well, that is bad news. I'm sick. And there's so much to do.
Yeah.
I guess you don't care that I'm sick. They'll care. You all care.
These random internet people will care more
all
than
my
your loving husband about your sickness?
All my internet friends will care that I'm sick and feel sorry for me.
They will. That's some beautiful looking spinach you have behind you.
Oh, thanks. I'm starting a seed farm.
Yeah.
So we have a section here, the beets, 2 beds of carrots, and then the spinach that got planted quite a while ago. And we haven't had time to weed it at all, so that's why it's just a weed patch. We knew we had the couch grass or the quack grass, which is just a nasty weed. It grows these crazy rhizomes and then just spreads everywhere. It's really hard to get rid of and to deal with. Another really bad weed that we'd been fighting here all last year is like a wild geranium, and you can kind of see this like tiny little seedling has this insane taproot to it, and the taproot stays really skinny and then it starts to like branch out. So if this plant gets big at all, you go to pull it and the top just breaks off, and then it has so much power in the roots that it gets really, really hard to get rid of. It just keeps coming back again and again and again. I knew I had that, but the one thing that I didn't know that we had, which is a really big bummer, is, oh, not that. Our garden is full of bindweed, and this is a super aggressive weed. It grows like crazy root systems, and if you break it up, like with the tiller, it spreads it everywhere. These are pulling up really easily. Normally the issue with the bindweed is the root. It's the same as the geranium. The roots are really strong and the plant itself is really brittle. So you go to pull it, it just cracks off. You can't get the roots out. This is coming out not too bad. So I suspect what's going on with it, or wishful thinking, I hope what's going on with it is that there was lots of weeds in here, and when we tilled it, it brought the bindweed seeds to the surface and it germinated. And so then if I pull this before it can flower and spread and get established, hopefully I can stay on top of it. Worst case scenario, there was bindweed in here and we tilled it in and basically just seeded the entire thing with bindweed, and we'll never get rid of it ever again, and this will be my life. But I'm still staying positive at this point.
At this point?
At this point. Talk to me next year.
I'm videotaping you getting up to hear all your old lady sounds.
You know, I'm making progress. I got a couple chunks done.
Weeding's always slow going, but then when you're done, you're done for a couple days.
You know, this has been 2 months, right? Now that it's a week till the market, I can make a pretty accurate estimate of what we're going to be bringing. So I'm pretty excited. I did the count, and we're definitely going to have like a happy looking number of options. We don't have washing systems set up, so I'm definitely going to be bringing less than I would like to bring. But I think we'll make a good showing for the first market. In this bed here, we have rapini. There's probably only a couple bundles that made it. I'd never grown it before, and it doesn't like the heat. It's more of a spring crop, but it'll be fun to bring a couple bundles of that and see if it does anything. And then on the other end of this bed is radishes, and I have a full bed. I have Easter egg radishes as well as French breakfast and white icicle radishes, so I'll be able to have a couple couple options on radishes. This bed here is our bok choy, and it's all gone to seed. But someone gave me a really good idea on Instagram. They said to take the heads that have gone to seed and pick out the really nice stems, and then do a clump of just washed stems. And the choy heads are really difficult to wash, so I think that's not a bad idea for how to sell it anyways. It makes it really easy for people to then prep it for when they bring it home for their kitchen. So I think that will make, you know, a healthy showing of choy at the market. And then a bunch of the choy has gone to seed. You can see the yellow flowers, but there are still some stems. You know, like this one down here where the blossoms haven't opened yet, and there's a handful of leaves. The ones that I'm going to pick probably will be a little bit longer, more like an 8-inch stem, and I'm going to get together clusters of these because these are really tasty. These are my favorite thing to eat out of the choy, and I'm going to see if this sells, you know, kind of like a specialty product. But we wanted to bring the choy to market to experiment with if we could sell choy, just because we love it. So bringing stuff like this just as an experiment, not a bad idea. See what people think. This bed here is turnips. We definitely have a good chunk of turnips in there. I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful when I'm harvesting these. Our radishes that I grew just for us, about half of them were buggy, so they're nothing I could sell. And I suspect I might have issues with it too in the turnips. But pull it, see what they look like. In the future, if we need to grow them under cover to keep bugs out of it, you know, that's something that we can do. But you know, all of this stuff this year is an experiment, so I'm sure I'll be able to have at least, you know, a basket of turnip clusters. What we assume is going to be the bread and butter of the farm, because people pay tons of money for it and it's easy to grow, is our Salanova lettuce. We started eating this over the last couple days, and it's really tasty. It was bitter about a week and a half ago, and knowing that I needed to get it sweeter, I've been watering every day because we've been getting like 30 degrees Celsius. So what is that? That's like 90. It's been 90 here, so it's been pretty hot for lettuce. So without that daily watering, it's not as tasty, but it's tasting good now. It's nice and sweet, and the heads have really clumped up. So I'm gonna have plenty of this to bring, and it looks great when it gets all mixed together, and it looks like a really high quality mix. And then with this heat, my kale and then my Swiss chard bed here, it's gone like crazy. So I'm definitely gonna have a couple bundles of Swiss chard leaves or kale leaves that I'll be able to bring. And then I also have herbs. I have mint, I have sage, I have dill, and you know, maybe a few other things that I could gather out of my herb garden that are ready to go for the market. And then we also have patio tomato plants potted up, and then our strawberries potted up that we'll bring to sell too. So I think we're gonna have more than enough to do, you know, a pilot high, watch it fly display at the market on Friday.
We managed to find a used double sink, like a big stainless steel thing that came out of a grocery store for like a renovation, and it's got some hardware here as well for the plumbing. It's got this guy included, which is pretty cool. This is going to go into our wash station, and we weren't really sure what we were going to do. We'd looked at some stuff in some like restaurant supply stores, and it was pretty pricey, and we'd already spent a lot of money this year, so we weren't sure what we were going to be able to do. But finding a used one was perfect, because you know, it's just going to live its life outside over there. Over here I've been prepping an area where we're going to do a caterpillar tunnel. It's used, we bought it off of a friend, so I'm going to be digging through parts to kind of, you know, figure things out. But from what we understand, we have about 100 foot worth of supplies to make caterpillar tunnels. So we're going to do two 50-footers. We might even be able to fit 2 in eventually, like kind of put one there and have one over here. So we're going to see if we'll be able to squeeze those in, because that would be perfect. But that's going to be the home for all of our larger tomatoes this year. Well, not all of them, but 100 plants, plus eggplants and peppers. This over here is where we have our cherry tomatoes. So, you know, we're already into June. We're getting the hot weather already. We need to get the tomatoes in the ground here, but I have to finish this this tunnel before I can do anything. So we're kind of committed today for the rest of the day. And then this week, my goal is to get this tunnel done and these tomatoes planted. Today is the last day that we have tons of extra tomatoes. People have still been buying tomatoes, even though we're into June now. Yesterday, I think we sold $130 or $140 worth of nursery products. You know, and the main draw has been the tomatoes. But tonight we are donating what's left to a charity that grows foods. Some of these tomatoes turned out so cool. This one is one of the Wild Boar Farms. It's called Indigo Apple, and it's got all these like small, medium-sized tomatoes that have really cool colors. And the plant is almost like purple colored. Even, I'm not sure if you can see it on the roots. It's kind of hard in this light, but there's like all this purple coloring that's coming out in the roots. I think it's just kind of washing down from the plant, but really excited to see what these look like when they're all grown and pumping out tomatoes. There's less than a week left until we have our first market. So we are both excited and nervous. Serina's a bit relieved that she feels like we're gonna have a reasonable amount of product available for our first market. We didn't, you know, we weren't sure what it was gonna be like. We were just showing up with like a bunch of radishes or something. But seems like, you know, we'll have a variety of products. Also, we went to the like major farmers market in the area, which is a little far away and difficult for us to get into, so it's not really in our future business plans. We went there, and what was being sold wasn't outside of, you know, it wasn't too different from what we'll be going to the market with. It's a bit unique living in a house that everybody in the community seems to already be familiar with. You know, like we said in other videos, our house is 120 years old, and it used to be like a stagecoach stop between different communities. So it's been like a hub of the community in the past. And because we don't really have a lot of old buildings in Western Canada, you know, it does tend to stand out. And it was for sale for a while too before we picked it up. So, you know, lots of people who would come to the nursery sales have been walking here and being like, oh, like we came and checked your place out, or we used to buy vegetables from, you know, previous owner, you know, 15 years ago when this was an organic farm before. So people are really open to this place becoming a farm again, and it's such a beautiful spot that, you know, people get here and they're kind of hooked, we hope, that they'll want to come back. So the nursery sales have been like fairly positive. We probably had about 60 or 70 different customers that came. So, you know, we haven't made like a ton of money, but we weren't really expecting to, you know, be rich or anything like that on this whole venture. We're just trying to, you know, support a lifestyle that we really want to be doing. You know, this is what we want to do with our time. So if we can find a way to make enough money to be able to do that full time, then that's all that matters, because, you know, we don't have aspirations of traveling the world or anything like that. So all in all, I'd say we're viewing everything fairly positively right now. And, you know, we're excited for this first market to get out there and meet some more people and, you know, just get familiar with the community. We're already, we've already made more friends and met a lot of neighbors. So, you know, it's a pretty exciting time. Thanks for checking out the video. You should subscribe to join our journey, and check us out next time. Later.